Everyone thought Lena Hart had the perfect relationship. She loved deeply, she trusted completely, and she believed the man beside her would someday build a beautiful future with her. But what Lena didn't know was that the two people she trusted the most were already planning to destroy her life. And the night she discovered the truth would be the same night the world believed she died. Lena Hart was known by everyone as the kindest person in the office. She worked at a marketing company in Chicago, often staying late to finish projects others left unfinished. Her co-workers admired her dedication. But there was one person she worked hardest for, Daniel Carter, her boyfriend of 3 years. Daniel had big dreams. He wanted to build a tech company that would change everything. But dreams, unfortunately, cost money, and Daniel had very little of it. Still, Lena believed in him more than anyone. One evening after work, Lena walked into their small apartment carrying groceries. "Daniel?" she called out. Daniel appeared from the living room, smiling warmly. "There you are," he said. "You're late again?" Lena laughed. Daniel wrapped his arms around her. "I'm working on something big," he said. "One day all this hard work will pay off." Lena smiled. "I know it will." Later that night, Lena met her best friend Carla at a cafe. Carla had been Lena's closest friend since college. They shared everything: dreams, secrets, heartbreaks. But lately Carla had been acting differently. "So," Carla said, stirring her coffee slowly, "still supporting Daniel's little startup?" Lena nodded proudly. "He's going to succeed someday." Carla raised an eyebrow. "And if he doesn't?" Lena smiled softly. "Then I'll still be proud of him." Carla forced a smile, but her eyes revealed something darker. That night, Lena fell asleep early. She had another long day at work tomorrow. Beside her, Daniel quietly picked up his phone. A new message appeared. From Carla. "Carla, did she give you the money yet?" Daniel glanced at Lena sleeping peacefully. Then he typed back, "Daniel, not yet." A few seconds later, another message appeared. "Carla, hurry, you're running out of time." Daniel stared at the message, then slowly typed, "I know." The next day, Lena rushed into the apartment with excitement. "Daniel," she shouted happily. Daniel looked up from his laptop. "What happened?" "I got promoted." Daniel stood up. "Really?" "Yes." Lena laughed. "Better salary, better position, everything?" Daniel hugged her tightly. "That's amazing." Then Lena said something that would change everything. "I was thinking, maybe I can help fund your business." Daniel froze for a moment, then slowly smiled. "You'd really do that for me?" Lena nodded. "Of course. I believe in you." Later that night, Daniel sat alone in the dark living room. His phone buzzed again. Carla had sent a message. "Looks like the plan is working." Daniel stared at the screen, then he typed back, "Yes." Across the room, Lena slept peacefully, completely unaware that the people she trusted most were already betraying her. Episode 2. Lena believed she had two people she could trust with her life: the man she loved and the best friend who had always stood beside her. But while Lena worked harder than ever to support Daniel's dreams, Daniel and Carla were already sharing secrets behind her back. Secrets that would soon destroy everything Lena believed in. The morning after Lena's promotion felt like a new beginning. She woke up early, full of excitement. Daniel was still asleep when she quietly prepared breakfast. Pancakes, coffee, eggs. It was her way of celebrating. When Daniel finally walked into the kitchen, Lena smiled brightly. "Good morning." Daniel rubbed his eyes. You made all this? Lena laughed. Of course. We have something to celebrate. Daniel sat down at the table. You mean your promotion? Lena nodded. Yes, but also something else. Daniel looked curious. What is it? Lena hesitated for a moment. Then she said softly, I want to invest in your company. Lena believed she had two people she could trust with her life. The man she loved and the best friend who had always stood beside her. But while Lena worked harder than ever to support Daniel's dreams, Daniel and Carla were already sharing secrets behind her back. Secrets that would soon destroy everything Lena believed in. The morning after Lena's promotion felt like a new beginning. She woke up early, full of excitement. Daniel was still asleep when she quietly prepared breakfast. Pancakes, coffee, eggs. It was her way of celebrating. When Daniel finally walked into the kitchen, Lena smiled brightly. Good morning. Daniel rubbed his eyes. You made all this? Lena laughed. Of course. We have something to celebrate. Daniel sat down at the table. You mean your promotion? Lena nodded. Yes, but also something else. Daniel looked curious. What is it? Lena hesitated for a moment. Then she said softly, I want to invest in your company. Daniel almost dropped his coffee mug. You're serious? Lena nodded again. I know how much this means to you. She reached for his hand. And I want to help make it real. Daniel stared at her for a long moment. Then he smiled. But something about that smile didn't reach his eyes. Later that afternoon, Lena met Carla for lunch again. The cafe was crowded, but the two friends sat quietly in the corner. Lena couldn't hide her excitement. I'm investing in Daniel's company, she said happily. Carla slowly lowered her cup. You're giving him money? Not giving, Lena corrected. Investing. Carla leaned back in her chair. How much? Lena hesitated. Well, most of my savings. Carla nearly laughed. You're risking everything for him? Lena smiled. He would do the same for me. Carla didn't respond. Instead, she stared down at the table. And deep inside, jealousy burned. Because there was something Lena didn't know. Carla had been growing closer to Daniel for months, closer than a best friend ever should. That evening, Daniel received a message. Carla, meet me at the cafe. Daniel glanced toward the bedroom where Lena was resting, then quietly grabbed his jacket. When Daniel arrived, Carla was already waiting. She looked annoyed. You took long enough. Daniel sat down across from her. She's starting to ask questions. Carla rolled her eyes. That's because you're taking too long. Daniel sighed. I told you. I'll handle it. Carla leaned forward. No, Lena's giving you money now. That changes everything. Daniel stayed silent. Carla continued speaking. You don't need her anymore. Daniel looked uncomfortable. It's not that simple. Carla smirked. 3 years pretending to love her. You deserve an award. Daniel frowned. I never said I enjoyed it. Carla leaned closer. But you enjoyed the money. Daniel didn't answer, and that silence spoke louder than words. Back at the apartment, Lena sat at the table looking at documents, investment papers, business plans. She wanted to do everything properly. When Daniel finally returned, Lena looked up. You're back. Daniel forced a smile. Yeah, just needed some air. Lena walked toward him. I've been looking at the company numbers. Daniel tensed slightly. And? Lena smiled. I think we can make this work. She handed him a folder. Tomorrow we can go to the bank. Daniel stared at the folder. Inside it was everything Lena had. Her savings, her future, her trust. Daniel closed the folder slowly. "Thank you," he said quietly. Lena hugged him. "You're going to succeed." Daniel hugged her back, but his eyes were filled with conflict. Later that night, Daniel stepped onto the balcony to make a call. Carla answered immediately. "Well?" Daniel sighed. "She's transferring the money tomorrow." Carla smiled on the other end of the line. "Perfect." Daniel looked uneasy. "She really trusts me." Carla laughed softly. "That's her mistake." Daniel rubbed his forehead. "You don't understand. She's not a bad person." Carla's voice turned cold. "That's exactly why she's easy to use." Daniel stayed silent. Then Carla said something darker. "You need to start thinking about the future." "What future?" "The one where Lena isn't part of your life anymore." Daniel looked shocked. "What are you saying?" Carla's voice lowered. "I'm saying she's becoming a problem." Daniel felt a chill run down his spine. Inside the apartment, Lena sat happily reviewing their plans. She whispered to herself, "This is the beginning of our future." But outside on the balcony, Daniel stared into the dark city streets, and Carla's last words echoed in his mind. "If Lena disappears, everything becomes yours." Daniel looked back at the apartment door, where Lena waited for him with love and trust. And for the first time, he didn't know which future he wanted. Fade to black. Lena believed love meant sacrifice. She thought helping Daniel was the right thing to do. But sometimes the biggest sacrifices are the most dangerous. Tonight she will give up something she can never get back. Lena sat at the kitchen table, laptop open, bills stacked beside her. Daniel's voice called from the living room. "Lena, we might need more money. The investors are stalling." Lena froze. Her hand hovered over her coffee cup. "More money? How much this time?" she asked cautiously. Daniel walked over looking slightly nervous. "Just enough to cover the payroll for the team and some marketing." Lena hesitated. I don't have much left." Daniel smiled softly, taking her hand. "You've already done so much. This is the last push, I promise." Later, Lena opened a small jewelry box. Inside was a necklace from her late mother. She whispered almost to herself, "If I sell this, maybe he can finally succeed." Her hands trembled as she held it, thinking of her mother's voice. "You always help others, Lena, but don't lose yourself." Tears rolled down her cheeks. "I can't lose him. Not now." The next morning, Lena went to a local jeweler. She sold the necklace and withdrew the rest of her savings. When she called Daniel to tell him, he sounded relieved. "You did what?" Lena forced a smile through the phone. "I sold my necklace and transferred everything I had." Daniel's pause lasted longer than expected. "Lena, thank you." He didn't sound entirely sincere. Later that night, Carla called Daniel. "Did she really give it all?" she asked, excitement in her voice. "Yes," Daniel replied, glancing at Lena, who was asleep on the couch. "She really believes in me." Carla smirked. "That's perfect. Now she has nothing to fall back on." Daniel looked uneasy. "I don't like it. It feels wrong." Carla laughed softly. "Wrong or convenient? Remember, she trusts you blindly." Daniel sighed and hung up. The next day, Lena prepared her business documents carefully. "I know this will help him," she whispered. She smiled at the thought of a future together. Love, success, happiness, all for Daniel. What she didn't know, however, was that Carla was watching her every move. That night, as Lena slept, Daniel received a message from Carla. "The plan is working. Soon she'll be powerless. Daniel stared at the phone. He didn't reply. He couldn't. And Lena believed she was building a future she might never get to see. Fade to black. Lena thought she knew everything about Daniel and Carla. She trusted them both. But some secrets are hidden in the shadows, waiting to destroy you. Daniel had been acting distant lately. Lena noticed he was texting constantly, disappearing for hours without explanation. "Where were you today?" she asked gently. Daniel smiled nervously. "Just errands, business stuff." Lena frowned but let it go. She wanted to believe in him. Meanwhile, Daniel met Carla at a cafe. Carla leaned across the table. "She suspects nothing," she whispered. Daniel nodded. "Yes. She's investing everything she has. Soon, it will all be ours." Carla smirked. "Good. Once it's done, she won't have any control." Daniel felt a pang of guilt. "But she loves me." Carla's eyes narrowed. "And that's exactly why she's easy to manipulate." Later, Lena noticed her bank statement had a small irregularity. "Strange," she muttered. "Something doesn't add up." She tried asking Daniel casually, "Is everything okay with the transfer?" Daniel's face went pale. "Everything's fine, really." Lena believed him, at least for now. That night, Daniel and Carla met again in secret. Carla whispered, "Once she's blind enough, we'll take everything. Her money, her loyalty, her love, and she won't even know it." Daniel swallowed nervously. I feel bad." Carla leaned close, a dangerous glint in her eyes. "Good. That guilt will keep you under control." Meanwhile, Lena slept in her apartment, unaware of the betrayal happening right under her roof. Her phone buzzed in the other room. It was a message from Carla. "Everything is going according to plan." Lena never saw it, but soon she would. 3 years of love, destroyed in a single moment. Lena believed in Daniel with all her heart. Her best friend Carla had always been by her side. But love and friendship can be deceiving. Tonight, Lena's world would shatter. Lena decided to surprise Daniel with dinner. She arrived home early from work, humming a tune. "Daniel," she called softly as she unlocked the door. There was laughter inside, not Daniel's, someone else's. Her heart sank. Lena opened the door slowly. There they were, Daniel and Carla, sitting too close on the couch. Lena's hands trembled. "Carla, what are you doing?" Carla froze, then smiled cruelly. "Oh, Lena, you're home early." Daniel stood up, avoiding her eyes. "Lena, I can explain." Lena's voice cracked. "Explain? Explain what?" Daniel took a deep breath. I never loved you, Lena." Carla leaned back, smirking. "You were useful, that's all." Lena stumbled backward. 3 years. 3 years of trust, love, and sacrifice. Gone. She whispered, barely audible. How could you?" Daniel tried to step toward her. "It's not what you think." Lena shook her head. "I don't want to hear it." She ran out into the rainy night, heartbroken. The streets were empty. Rain poured down as Lena walked, tears mixing with the drops. Her thoughts raced. Everything I did. For him. For us. Wasted. A sudden flash of headlights. A speeding car. Lena barely had time to scream. The world would soon believe Lena Hart was dead. The night Lena discovered Daniel and Carla together, her entire world collapsed. 3 years of love turned out to be nothing but a lie. But what happened after she walked out into the rain would change every life involved forever. Because that night, the world believed Lena Hart died. Lena walked down the empty street, rain pouring heavily around her. Her mind replayed the words Daniel said. "I never loved you." Her chest felt tight. Every memory now felt fake. The dinners she cooked, the nights she stayed up helping him with business plans, the sacrifices she made, all of it meant nothing. Her phone buzzed, a message from Daniel. "Leave the apartment keys tomorrow." Lena stopped walking. Her hands trembled. 3 years together, and that was all he had to say. Back in the apartment, Carla poured 2 glasses of wine. Daniel looked uneasy. "Maybe we were too harsh," he muttered. Carla laughed. "Too harsh? She was living in your apartment and funding your company." Daniel shook his head. "She loved me." Carla rolled her eyes. "And now she's gone." She raised her glass. "To freedom." Daniel hesitated, but eventually drank. Meanwhile, Lena kept walking. She barely noticed the traffic lights changing, her vision blurred with tears. A car approached from the distance, fast, too fast. A driver argued on the phone while speeding through the rain. Lena stepped onto the road. Then bright headlights appeared, a loud screech, and a violent crash. Everything went black. Sirens echoed through the night. Paramedics rushed Lena into the emergency room. Doctors shouted instructions. "She's losing pulse. Prepare for surgery." Minutes passed. Then the heart monitor suddenly went flat. One doctor sighed. "Time of death." But just as they prepared to move her body, a faint heartbeat returned. The nurse gasped. "Wait, I'm detecting a pulse." The doctors rushed back into action. Outside the hospital, police spoke with the driver. "Did you see her before the impact?" The driver looked terrified.